parenting can prove to be a bit more strenuous than a 9-to-5 job. You all agree?
Yes.
Okay. But being a parent is a labor of love. I'm sure you agree with that too. So is parenting difficult, or are we difficult parents? Today we have all gathered to share our difficulties, learn how to be in tune with our kids, and be God's perfect instrument in nurturing and bringing up all children in faith. It is rightly said, parents need to give children two important things. One is roots, and the other is wings. This often puts parents in a major dilemma, and a bit of training will surely help acquire the necessary skills for good parenting. To help us sit back and introspect, get aware of things we never thought of, and learn how to handle situations in the right manner, we have a wonderful guide amongst us today who will tell us about the art and science of parenting. I feel privileged to introduce to you Dr. Cynthia DeCosta, Associate Professor, Pushpanjali B.Ed College. She belongs to Mulgaon Parish and is the Managing Editor of Shanti Doot. Simple, humble, and pious, her strong faith is reflected in all her articles. She is extremely helpful and approachable, always willing to give guidance, and is well acquainted with the psychology of children. I request our dear sister Victoria to kindly felicitate Dr. Cynthia with a token of appreciation. Before we begin the session, let's all close our eyes for 2 minutes. Relax our body. Keep our palms open on our knees facing upwards. And ask the Holy Spirit to fill us with wisdom. Lord, give me new eyes. Help me see each challenge as an opportunity to train my children toward right thinking and right living. Lord, give me a new attitude. Remind me that any moment of the day can be a start over moment and a chance for an attitude adjustment. Lord, give me a new focus. Help me to pluck any worries from my mind and place them firmly in your hands. Lord, give me compassion. Remind me what it was like to be my children's age and have to face the struggles of growing up. Lord, give me wisdom. Help me to see my children as who you designed them to be, instead of the images I have set up in my mind of who I'd like them to become. Amen. Now let's open our eyes gently, rub your palms together, and let's click in the air, click, 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 as we have Dr. Cynthia DeCosta to begin the session.
And good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My pleasure to be here. About 3 weeks ago, I was here for a similar session with the Marathi speaking crowd. And then a few days later, Father said, would you conduct such a session for our English speaking lady? I agreed for the simple reason that I believe God always hides behind the scenes and He uses us as instruments in some way or the other. You too, my dear parents and grandparents, are instruments. You see, to become a professional, you go through a number of courses. Any engineers here? Any engineers in the crowd? Okay, I'm sure you have done either a diploma or a degree in engineering, and that is why you qualify as an engineer. Anybody who is in management? Somebody who has done management? Okay, even if they aren't here, there would be people who have done an MBA and hence they qualify to be managers. Any teachers in the crowd? Teachers? Okay. I'm sure you're qualified with some kind of a degree, a B.Ed or a D.Ed or a TTC or something of that kind. Friends, for every kind of profession, we have training. What about parenting? What kind of degree do we have in order to become good parents? Anybody? If you could tell me that you have done a bachelor's in parenting or a diploma in parenting, we do not have such kind of degrees. We just learn as we bring up our kids. And therefore, our first child is brought up perhaps in a little different way. We are wiser when the second one comes. So it's a question of learning throughout the journey. And that is why it's an art. Parenting is an art. At the same time, it must follow certain amount of psychological principles, and therefore parenting is also a science, and hence I have titled my session as Parenting, a Scientific Art. Now, I give you a little time to think of your strongest memories that you have of your parents. Some good memories that you have of your parents. Like I'll share with you my own memory. I was born and brought up in Manipur, and I lived somewhere near the Manipur market. My home was there. I'm talking of the 1970s, the early 70s, when we did not have fridges at home. And we loved ice cream. The closest ice cream shop was at Vasai Station. So my father would pick up 2 cups of ice cream for us, wrap them in his handkerchief, and literally run all the way from Vasai Station to where we lived, a good 5 minutes run, to give us those ice cream cups before the ice cream melted. I also remember the gifts my parents gave us for every Christmas, Easter, birthdays. They were in the form of books. And I've still got those books with me. These are my fondest memories of my childhood. So go back to your childhood and think of the strongest memories that you have of your parents. I'm sure those memories are coming up. And then turn to the person next to you. Just exchange that memory with the person. Come on. Turn to the person next to you and tell that person what you remember most about your parents from your childhood. Quick, this is time for you to talk. Yes, everybody is supposed to turn to the person to the left or the right and share. In whichever language that you want to. Okay, and I'm sure as you're sharing, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you and everybody is giving their broadest smiles as they are sharing. There's nobody sharing with a long face. Everybody seems so happy sharing. I can really see all those pearly whites shining away. So, you felt nice when you shared, right? Now, if your children have to share something like this, say 30 years later, 20 years later, if your children are sitting here, and if they have to share something about you, I wonder what that would be. I'm sure they've got some good memories, I'm sure. Time and again I ask, I have one daughter, a 20-year-old daughter, and I ask her, Priya, what are your good memories of mommy, or what are your good memories of daddy? And she does have a long list, though she doesn't openly share it unless she's asked. But children are grateful to us for whatever we do. Small things that we might think are insignificant. Children view them with a lot of value. And therefore, parenting needs us to be conscious every step of our life. Now we've got a little grid here. I'm not taking you through something very difficult. This is a little bit of simple psychology. You look there, you have got two lines. The vertical line is what we call as the control line. As parents, we all tend to control. Some of us may control to a very low extent. Some of us may control to a very high degree. And the horizontal line that you have there is the line of warmth or love. There too, we are in a range. There may be people who are very low on expressing love, and there are parents who could be very high on expressing that love. And thus we have 4 quarters, if you can see there. That whole screen is divided into 4 quarters. Now, if you are low on love, but high on control, you are low on expressing, if you are low on expressing your love, but you are a very controlling parent, then you are an authoritarian parent. Aao bole so gayega. Whatever I say, that's it. You sit when I say sit and you stand when I say stand. You are a dominating parent. I have taught at St. Augustine's for 9 years, from 1987 to 96. And then from 96, I switched over to a B.Ed college as a teacher. But during those 9 years as a school teacher, young students would often come up to me and say, "Miss, we hate our Sundays." I say, "Why? That's the day you're at home, you should enjoy your Sundays." "No, our Hitler is at home, no, that day." These are the words kids have used for their father. We do not want, and there can be a Hitler mom also. Yeah, there can be a Hitler mom also. So we do not want those kind of parents. You should not be an authoritarian parent. You're expressing very little love, but all that you do is express your power. You could be, now you have to just think which quadrant you fall into. You could be a neglectful parent, low on love, low on warmth, and low on power also. That is, you don't express your love, you do nothing to show your child that you love your child, and at the same time you have no control over your kid at all. That makes you a neglectful parent, and they could be parents of this kind. I'm sure none of those are sitting here. Because if you were a neglectful parent, you wouldn't be sitting here, you wouldn't care. So there are parents of this kind. And fortunately, our Indian society, we find lesser parents of this kind. But abroad, surely, I had a student of mine from the States who came, he's teaching in the States, and he had visited our college, and he was talking of the high number of teenage pregnancies in America. A 7th grade student, so 12 or 13-year-old student, fully pregnant, and she would be in the class, and that sir told her, "Whatever you do, I hope you do not deliver in the class, you know." I said, "But that's a very rude way, John, of putting things." He said, "Miss, you won't believe the number of neglectful parents that we have there." Thankfully, our Indian society, you won't have many of this kind, at least in a middle class society. So, a neglectful parent, no love for the children, and absolutely no control over what their children do. The third kind of parent, there could be some among us who are of this kind. We love our children a lot. That's good, that's great, that's wonderful. High on warmth, high on love, but no control. So when the kid tells you, "Give me 100 rupees, the mother will say, or the father will say, "Only 100, take 500, Baba, take." You know you have parents like that. Or if the child has not made any demands, and or maybe the child will make a demand, "Mommy, I need a phone," and the child is ready to settle down for a phone of say 10 or 12,000, and the mother says, "No, you better go in for this 50,000 wala phone." Permissive parents, permissive. Low on control. They express a lot of love, etc., but the parents are low on control. This too is a bad style of parenting. And then you have the fourth kind, the best kind, where you are high on love and warmth. At the same time, you also have the right amount of control. You know, I see many ladies, and I'm sure the men also would sometime on the other end of a kitchen, when you have to put in your spices, the spices all have to be in the right amount. Imagine cooking something with one spice overpowering. You won't feel like having the dish. Similarly with parenting. You have to have the right amount of control and the right amount of warmth. I must mention here, sometimes there are parents who are absent due to work reasons for a long time. Say the father is working on a rig, or maybe serving abroad, or maybe on a transferable job. And when such a father comes back home, he's likely to be either very authoritarian or very permissive. He sees the condition at home and he says, hey, these children have got absolutely no discipline. And what he cannot do for 8 months when he is away, the father tries to do in 2 months when he is on holiday, getting over strict. Or the other way around, if the father feels guilty, I am not with my family for most of the year, so then those 1 or 2 months when I am at home, I give in to everything that my children say. This is not the right style of parenting. It could happen with a mother too. Let's say work is keeping her away for a long time. She's at work and therefore she gets very little time with her kids. So the little time that she gets with her kids, she tries to be very permissive to make up for the time that she's not there. Keep consistent. Be consistent. So you can check out for yourself which form of parenting you fall into. You may fluctuate. There may be days you sound authoritarian, dominating, but maybe most of the time you are authoritative, the right kind of parenting. There may be certain days, let's say it's your child's birthday, and that day you may be permissive, but the rest of the time you have got the right blend of control and love. So that's fine to be fluctuating, but reflect and see where you are most of your time, because this affects your children. When you are an authoritarian parent, a dominating parent, your children are likely to have less self-esteem, because all the time you are dominating. Your child's self-esteem. Self-esteem is what do I consider myself as? That self-esteem gets affected. Your child may be too scared. He's scared of you, she's scared of you, and so she's scared of others as well. So this could lead to delinquent behavior. Delinquent behavior, somebody who digresses from the right path, wrong behavior. So avoid being these kind of parents. Don't even be the neglectful parents. The neglectful parents who don't care what their children do. 100%, you don't care what your children do, your children are bound to be delinquents. Delinquents are those who do not follow rules and regulations of society. Such kind of children could get into things like drug and alcohol abuse. And mind you, this starts very early. We go to various schools because where I teach, I'm training teachers. So my students have to sit and they have to give lessons. And I sit at the back of class observing my students teach. And when I sit at the back of class, I often see what students in the class are doing. I've had examples of them trying to use drugs in class. This is in Vasai. I don't want to name schools. I've had drugs in the sense they could bring pens which they sniff. I had one case of one of my students coming and telling me, Miss, once a girl came, she said she wanted to go to the washroom. The girl, a 11th standard girl. She went to the washroom, she came back from the washroom and her eyes were red. So this teacher, innocent person, thought that she's not well. So she went and she said, are you not well? Your eyes are red. And that girl, she didn't say anything, so the teacher told her, put your head down on the desk and just rest. The other girls around started giggling. She said, why are you giggling? She's not well. I've told her to put her head down. After the class ended, one person came up and told her, Miss, it's not that she was not well. She said, but her nose was running, her eyes were red, watery. She said, no, miss, she has been vaping. Vaping? This young teacher said, beeping, you mean? She said, no, not beeping, vaping. This teacher said, what's vaping? She said, miss, you don't know. You get an e-cigarette. And this one, they inhale it. And she was getting a high there. She was getting intoxicated in school. And the teacher doesn't even know. I'm sure most of us, we don't know what this stuff looks like. And innocently, and she's saying, because of that, her eyes were red. Just like a drunkard can have red eyes. So the girl's eyes were red in class. 2 days ago, I heard that these kind of cigarettes are now banned by the government, and that's a great thing. And why they are banned, if you go back to why they are banned, in one Delhi school, they had a raid. They checked children's bags. And when they checked children's bags, 350 of them were carrying these e-cigarettes. The devil is in every city and in every place like this. So, don't be neglectful parents. It's quite likely that kids get into such things like drug abuse. You could be a permissive parent, overindulgent. Your child has asked you for 100 rupees and you put 500 rupees in his hand. Your child is never wrong. Your child says, Mommy, 2 days I'm not going to be there. You don't even ask, where are you going, child, for 2 days? Your child says, I want to go for an overnight picnic. You say, take this money and go. You don't question, who are you going with? Where are you going? Why are you going? Then you are a permissive parent. So such kind of permissive parents, these children think, my mommy and daddy revolve around me. I'm like the center of their universe. So I'm the center of everybody's universe. And the whole world must revolve around me. So these children could grow with that idea. Mommy and daddy give in to everything that I say. So everybody, my teacher in class should agree to everything that I say. And these can be misfit in society. Tomorrow they'll expect that at their workplace, their colleagues are equally permissive. They'll expect their spouse to be equally permissive. Because you have adjusted to them, you see. So when they grow up, they expect everybody to adjust to them and to dance according to their tunes. So do not be extra permissive parents. The best, as I told you, is the authoritative type, with the right blend of control and the right blend of love. Many of you must be playing the guitar, or at least you have seen a guitar being played. If the strings are too tight and you pluck a string, the string is likely to break. And if the strings are too loose, too lax, there will be no music out of it. Parenting is like that. Don't be too controlling, right? Just the right amount of control at the right time, and there are chances that your children grow up to be healthy, balanced individuals. So it's time to reflect on our style of parenting first, before questioning why is my child not growing up the way I want him or her to. Then we go on to some stages, because in each stage a child has different characteristics. Like between 0 to 2, this is what we call as infancy. And in infancy, the child is just learning to interact with his or her environment. You'll say, what parenting at infancy? The child can't understand much. But the presence of an adult who's responsible adult, okay, if the mother is at home, well and good. If not, some other elder. If not, some responsible person looking after the kid. And it will be good if maximum time is spent by the parents with a child, because even that is an important age. This is the age when the child may not be able to speak, but the child is definitely collecting a lot from what he or she sees around. Then you come to early childhood, a very difficult age for parents. How many of you sitting here have kids between the age of 2 to 6? Okay. And we know what they can be, terrible 2s and terrible 3s, and they are not conscious of what danger is. So they'll stand on the bed and they'll jump from there. They look as if they have a motor attached to them. And they are constantly on the go. They are full of curious questions and they want to talk continuously. And they get so fed up of their talk. They say, Baba, bus from morning, now my ears are paining. Enough now I've heard of you. Avoid that. Avoid that. Because right then when you tell them don't talk, they clamor later on. So if they come back from school and they're just chattering away, they're telling you this and that, it's a healthy thing. And let that healthy thing continue even later. This is a time when their brain is being developed to the maximum. And therefore don't miss that age. What you could do for that is ensure that they're developing the right vocabulary. Read to them. The best present you can get for a kid is books. Get them into the reading habit. This is also a time when they have a lot of questions, they're very curious. Be patient enough to answer that. They're learning to socialize. Now they come out of their family, they go into playgroup or nursery, they're just learning to socialize. Their food habits are getting molded then. So if you give them all junk at that age, be sure they're going to be addicted to that. Get the habit of home food there, nothing like that. You see them using electronic devices like never before. None of you at the age of 3 had a mobile in the hand. But I'm sure those who put their hands up, you give a mobile to your child and they know where the photographs are, that mother is shaking their head, they're shaking their head. Yeah. And then we want little piece, what do? Just take this iPad, take this mobile. Okay, if they're using it to look at certain pictures, etc., fine. But I'm scared it's becoming too addictive. I don't know how many of you are facing this. I've got a neighbor of mine who often comes to my house. And the first thing that he wants, he's a 3-year-old. And first he jumps around and a lot of musty and all that. After some time he'll go in for the mobile. And he knows where the YouTube is on the mobile. He can't read, but he knows what is YouTube. He knows to skip an ad. And if, they don't skip an ad, when they come skip an ad, he just press that. Of course, most of the time he wants to see wheels of the bus go round and all, fine. But if I don't give him the mobile, then with slanting eyes he'll tell me, Attamaji satakli. Where does the kid got all that from? That is also, he knows when to threaten me. He knows when to threaten me with words like that. Now, as long as he's watching for 5 minutes or so, that's fine. But 5 minutes can become 15, and that's the only time he's quiet. And we are very tempted to give these things in their hand because we want our moments of peace. So either we put on the cartoon channel or something like that. The cartoon channel, okay, they're watching some good serials, that's fine. They learn good things, fine. Like when my daughter was small, she would watch a lot of Noddy. And I also love Noddy because some good values we learned. Noddy was always helpful and all. I said, that's fine. The problem is, of course, one thing is your eyes and continuous watching. Cartoon TV is too fast. Every minute, something is changing. And children expect a similar kind of thing everywhere else. They get restless. If you're watching cartoon movies or animated films, the frames change so soon. There's nothing like slow movement. And I wonder whether it's because of that children are expecting fast movements everywhere. So if grandmother is walking slowly, they are intolerant. If we take 2 minutes extra to bring their food to them, they could be intolerant. How long are you taking? That could be the retort. So control your screen time. It may be used, but have control, see that they are not getting addicted to whether it's the TV screen, the computer screen, or an iPad or a mobile. You should have some kind of restraints, not more than so much time. And avoid giving such things at a very small age. At least television, somewhere we can control. If they are on the computer, you never know when what ads pop in. And you never know when the child is tempted to click on something that the child should not be going to. Then the challenge starts on a greater scale. When you get into later childhood, beyond the age of 7. Now this is a time when they learn sometimes to start telling lies. In their early childhood, they tell lies and then they only blink their eyes and tell you I'm telling lies. So much of innocence. But now will come the time when they are ready to start bluffing. They are on the threshold of adolescence. And adolescence is coming in earlier. When you were kids, when I was a kid, the age of 12 and 13 also adolescent puberty had not set in. Today girls as young as the age of 10, you find that they are getting adolescent. Children know much earlier. We learn things much later. So they are seeing things around them. They are on the threshold of adolescence. Now they have started thinking abstractly. Their influence of friends is high. They are more influenced by their peers than their mothers or fathers. Earlier it was, no, I want to do this. My mummy told me this. My mummy said this way, so that was right. Now it is, my friends are doing this. I want to do this. So now they understand moral values. This is the age you have to be extra vigilant. But you can't be shouting at them for something wrong. They may just clam up. I was at a school in Vasai when I saw one of the principal was livid with anger one day, and that person is normally a very calm person. I said, sister, what's the matter? She said, just now everybody is getting down from the school bus and I see this girl, she must be in 6th standard. Very surreptitiously she is waving to the bus driver. Very politely, she's saying bye to the bus driver. So sister went and tapped her from the back and she got scared. And she's saying, miss, I could see the glint in this driver's eyes. The driver was definitely past 25 or 30. And this girl was an 11 or 12-year-old girl. And then she called the girl, she spoke to the girl. The girl just broke down crying. The girl came from a broken family. When our families are not stable, the child will search for stability outside. The child wants stability, the child wants love. And when this is not found in the house, in the home, the child might look out for such things outside, and it could be from a bus driver or a rickshaw driver or anybody. Vulnerability increases. Vulnerable. You're more prone to falling into trouble. And you don't know what is right and wrong to that extent. So therefore, you need to be vigilant with children here. And then comes a very challenging stage, the stage of adolescence. This is where there's attraction of the opposite sex. You may also find children experimenting on homosexuality at this age. You will find this is what we refer to as a period of stress and storm. The child is unable to know what's happening with his or her body. Attractions may be very high, don't know who to go and discuss this with. It's a fashion for everybody to have a partner, and therefore those who are not interested also look out for a boyfriend or a girlfriend. If they do not have one, then the others will say, "Arey, nobody likes you, nobody has proposed to you." These things are on the increase. So this is a time of secretiveness. And that's why when you say that your kids share with you, let them continue to share with you. If you find your kids going extra sensitive, not sharing who their friends etc. are, it's time for, it's a wake-up signal for you. My daughter, my son, who was talking to me about all her friends or his friends until yesterday, where have all those friends gone? Have those friends changed? Once in a way, drop in a question, what so-and-so is doing? Find out. Find out indirectly. This is also the time for career decisions. So therefore, make them aware of what possible careers, etc. they could get into and help them prepare for that. Here are some general tips. What I'm talking now is things that we are aware of. Definitely you're aware of all this. We just use it to revise what we know. First thing is accept your child at all times. You may not accept your child's behavior. You reject the behavior, but do not reject your child. Once you have rejected your child, who does that child go to? So you may not be happy with what your son is doing or what your daughter is doing. Tell your child, tell your daughter, I don't like you back answering me. But don't use statements like, I don't like you. There's a difference. If I tell my child, Priya, I don't like the way you back answer me. And if I say, Priya, I don't like you, there's a world of difference between the two. So be careful of the words. Make them aware of what their behavior, where their behavior is wrong, but accept your child, whatever the child may be doing. You accept your child, don't accept the behavior. Never compare. And avoid this mindless competition that we have. He got 91, you got only 89. Oh my God. 91 and 89, then 2 marks ka difference doesn't make any difference in life later. I've forgotten what my SSC marks were also. And really, those don't make much of a difference. Oh, I do remember one thing about my SSC though. I passed my SSC in 1980. And my English marks out of 100 were just 54. And it was such a shock to me because I knew that I had done well. And I didn't deserve 54. I deserved at least 20 more. At that time, that was a shocker. But I don't think that makes any difference to me today. If I tell you my English marks in SSC were 54, you judge me not from those marks, you judge me from the way I speak today. So marks ultimately are not what determine us. What we do with our life is what determines us. So do not place any great premium on marks. I have hundreds of stories of children who have not got great marks, but they are great people today. I'm reminded of a boy, I must share this story with you. He was a boy who had very poor memory, and therefore he couldn't do very well. This boy came from a background which was not very great. I mean, financially they were just average. The boy couldn't even complete his SSC, I think. This was in the 1990s, and this boy, after school, he did not go into college or anything, he just directly went to Father Agnell's and did a course in computer hardware. Today, he is a young man and Vasai's biggest computer hardware shop is his. A boy who did not continue after SSC. A boy who struggled with mathematics and other subjects until SSC. Today has a successful hardware business. Where do your marks count? It's getting into the right field at the right time and working hard there. So please stop comparing, please start competing with somebody. Just teach your children to achieve according to what their own level permits them to. Create a can-do atmosphere in the house. You can do this. You are capable of doing this. Create that kind of an atmosphere in the house. This is a story told about Edison. I don't know how far it is true, but the message is something very good. Edison's teacher believed that he could do nothing. He was an average student or maybe a below average student in school. So the teacher one day wrote a note to his mother, this boy needs to be kept at home because there's nothing that we can do with this kid in school. And innocently this fellow brought that note home. He could not even read what the teacher has written. And the mother took the note, she read it, and Edison asked his mother, Mama, what's written? She said, nothing. Teacher's saying, you're so good with your studies, we can't do anything more for him in school. You better teach him at home. So child, from tomorrow, we'll teach you at home. So Edison was brought up by his mother and grandmother with whatever they could manage. And today we know Edison is the man who has given us the bulb. Edison is the man who gave us the phonograph. Today really have got the latest for hearing music. Earliest we started with a gramophone, so phonograph was from Edison. Edison's mother passed away, she died, and many years later, when Edison was a famous scientist, he found that note somewhere in his mother's possessions. And when he saw the note and he read the note, he was grateful to his mother. His mother didn't tell him. She didn't write him off. The teachers wrote him off. The teachers gave up on him. So, Edison's mother had a can-do attitude. Create that you can do. Create that for your children at home. Give positive I messages. What are I messages? For example, you don't like your kid coming and throwing the bag anywhere at home. So one day, you tell that child, keep your bag in place. And when the child does keep the bag in place, use I messages. I like the way you're keeping your bag in place. It's more effective than saying, keep your bag in place. Or I hate when you throw things around. A positive is, I like when you keep your bag in place. The day your child has washed his or her plate after eating, say, I like it when you clean and when you keep your plate in place. Give these positive I messages whenever possible. Don't be reactive parents, be proactive parents. Come on, imagine your child, you've just given a new bicycle to your child. Your child is out on the road cycling and the child falls, the bicycle is twisted. Your child has come home bruised, leg and all is bruised, and the child has come home and says, Mama, I fell down from the bicycle. A reactive parent will be, yesterday only you got that bike for you, you fell down and look at handle and blah, 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 blah. Reactive parent. A proactive parent will be, okay, you came walking, that's fine, so thank God, looks like your bones and all are broken, that's good. But your leg is bleeding, come on, first let's wash this leg and then I think we'll need to go to the doctor, we'll have to see maybe an injection or something like that and let's see what's wrong with your bike. Okay, we can repair this bike. Bike we'll look after later, come on, first let us wash your leg. Now that's a proactive parent. So be a proactive parent. Your child comes home with a report card which says, done okay in everything and one subject the child has got less marks. If you only see those less marks wala subject and you start blah blah blah, we have got tuitions for you and mommy and daddy are working so hard for you and this and that, you're reactive. Nobody wants to come near a reactive person. And this is true not only for parent and child relationship, it is so true for husband and wife relationships also. Sometimes our spouses are reactive. Or we may be the reactive one in the relationship. Anything happens, blast. Be proactive, calm. Treat the situation urgent. Whatever is of priority, treat that first. Be wise about the choices you offer your child. Sometimes, you take a child to the restaurant. Order whatever you want. Stop that. Give 2-3 things. Okay, you have these 3 things. What do you want from here? Curtail the choices. Children grow up with the feeling, the whole world is going to offer me whatever I want. Sometimes when it comes to eating preferences at home, one child likes this, husband likes that, mother-in-law likes that, and child likes this. And then the mother's making 4 different dishes for everybody. Treat the family, teach the family to adjust, to adapt, curtail choices because the world doesn't offer us too many choices. Avoid gratification. Instantly, children think that just as Maggie can be made in 2 minutes, everything, we don't have patience. Look at the way our children are in a queue. If they are waiting in a queue and they have to wait for a little extra time, look at how restless they are, stamping their feet. If somebody is taking extra time doing something, stand at DMart and they see a big line, they start getting hyper. Because they think DMart also should be like a Maggie wala 2-minute line. Life is not like that. So if they say, Mommy, I need so and so thing. Of course, if it's something that they need for school, a book or something they need it tomorrow, buy. But if the child says, Mommy, I want a new phone. That very minute, don't go on to Myntra and check out or whatever, Amazon and check out which phone. Delay gratification. If it's something urgent, do give it. But if it's something that can wait, teach them patience. Be aware of who are your child friends. I already spoke about that. Be careful with games that they play. Earlier, when they used to play on the computer screen, of course, if you walked in, you knew what they were doing. With a mobile, they can be very secretive. The minute you're there, they can just change. So be careful about what they play. Make them aware of this. Just as you have vaccinated your child, you did not wait for your child to get polio and then give vaccination. You give vaccination first so that polio won't come. Same with bad habits. The vaccination for bad habits is communication with your kids, telling your kids beforehand what could be dangerous for them. So be parents who speak about the dangers, make them aware about dangers. Teach them the importance of saying no. They don't have to say yes to everything that their friends do. Be careful about vehicles. Less than 15 days ago, we heard a very tragic case of a Catholic student. He was a student of St. Andrews, that boy. The only child of his parents, a 17-year-old boy. He was helping in the building, Ganpati decorations. So he was helping with the other boys. Good enough. They were working there. And mother called him up at 12 o'clock and asked him, "Are you coming home?" He said, "No, I'm with my friends." "No, I'm working here. I'm helping out." Mother said, "Okay." And the poor mother went off to sleep. At 4 o'clock in the morning, he and his friend get on a bike and go to Vasai Fort. Minutes before that, they put up on Instagram a video, and the video is showing them biking at 90, at the speed of 90. Can you beat that? And the video is there as proof. And then when they reached there, they rammed into an electric pole or something like that. The child died of shock or accident or whatever, electric shock or accident, not yet known. And the boy was there, riding. Mother is saying, but he did not know to ride a bike. On the road, the Instagram video shows the friend is riding. When they went to the fort, temptation. I don't blame that kid. And I don't blame his friend, and I don't blame the mother. I blame society. There are too many temptations, and it's so difficult to say no to temptations. Parenting is a joint effort. It's not just that parents' job. It is everybody is involved. The school, the family of course, the church, the society at large, everybody is involved in parenting, and the only child of his parents. The parish priest of where the child was buried, he is my student, and the priest was sharing, he saying, "Miss, on the day of the funeral, I just could not look at the mother. The father has a simple job in some film making line or something like that. The mother, I could not bear to look at the mother's face." And he said 2 days later she comes to take the death certificate. I could not bear to look at her again. Is it a joke to bring up our kids for 17 years and then lose them because of one foolish moment? So that's what I say, instant gratification. I want a bike. Now means now only about it. We can delay these things. So teach responsibility. Teach responsibility first. Be careful about things like the way they use vehicles, etc. Okay, now why am I showing you this horrible picture? I must share with you this incident. What is the result of it's too horrible to look at. No, you saw the picture. I'll tell you what happened. I was at this school, and with me was my student who is a Carmelite nun. One 6th standard boy, tiny fellow, comes to her and says, "You're a nun?" She said, "Yes, I'm a nun." "You're a good nun or an evil nun?" She said, "I'm a good nun." "What happened?" "No, there are evil nuns." She said, "What happened?" He said, "I was on the computer and I made a spelling mistake and I got the evil nun." "What is this evil nun?" "No, we play this game, evil nun. That picture that I showed you is of that evil nun. It's a game that kids play." Of course, this was a non-Catholic kid, and the child was, he didn't know what he was doing and addicted to games. The same class, once there was a free period and I walked in there and they were talking about something and somebody said TikTok videos. So I said, what is this TikTok videos? No, miss, we saw this on TikTok videos. I said, what is this TikTok videos? How many of you are watching? And about 80% of the kids had their hands up. TikTok videos. Anybody can make these videos, I believe, and post them. Some of them could be very vulgar. And I asked that child, I asked the children, who gives you all these TikTok videos? Mommy. The mother is giving them TikTok videos to watch. So, what are these TikTok videos? Who makes them? What is the content there? So, better to inform our children, better to speak to our children about these dangers that could be lurking behind this electronic media. This is another common one, and I wouldn't be surprised if many adults are addicted to it. PUBG. Players Unlimited Battleground, where you have some number of people are descending and you have to kill them. And then your area becomes smaller and smaller. And you have to kill as many people as you can to protect yourself. This may be the virtual world, you are playing virtually. But whatever we do virtually sometimes becomes reality for us. And then if you have to kill somebody in front of you, that also will become like one PUBG incident only for the kid. So be careful, be mindful. The child is saying, I'm playing video games. Inquire what are those video games. Have a look at those video games. Have a look at these mobile games that they are playing. I don't think that children really need mobile until they are 14 or 15. Maybe when they have started going for tuition, and I think that time a non-smartphone will do. Just with an ordinary SIM card to call you up and to tell you I have reached my tuition class or whatever, I think that's good enough. We all grew up without this rubbish now. Nothing happened to us. No, we roamed everywhere, we went to school, we went to tuitions, we came back, nothing happened to us. So be careful of what choices we offer. Respect the feelings of your child. The child also has his or her ego, therefore insulting the child, etc. should not be done. Very important, model good behavior. There's a lovely saying which says, I can't hear what you are saying. I can't hear what you are saying because what you do speaks much louder than that. What we do speaks much louder than what we say. So we tell our kids, don't use foul language, and we are using the F word as we wish. Or we tell our children, stay away from drugs, stay away from alcohol. And every time we have a get together, our bottles come out. That's where the children are learning from. If they have learned not to use foul language, they have learned it from home. And if they have learned not to touch things before a particular age, or to avoid these things totally, that also they learn from home. So model good behavior. We tell the child, don't back answer. But they see mother and father fighting away gloriously. So what behavior you portray before them is important. Stay connected. Stay connected with your child. Don't be a helicopter parent. Helicopter parent is always hovering around the child. Don't be a helicopter parent, but be connected with your child. Be aware of what your child is doing. Be connected with your spouse. You can't have mommy looking in north and daddy looking in south and trying to bring up a child. It won't work. So be connected with your spouse. You may have your differences, but I'm sure you can solve your differences quietly. Not by having a showdown in front of kids. Be connected with your family. They are your support system. Your school teachers. Don't criticize your school teachers in front of your kid. What is this? Your teacher doesn't know even this. One sentence is enough for your child to lose respect for that teacher. The teacher, you may have a difference, go and speak to the teacher. Don't criticize, don't be connected with society. And above all, be connected with God. Be alert for symptoms of addiction, depression. Addiction, depression, you'll find withdrawal is the first symptom. Less talking is another symptom. The child who would come and talk to you is now withdrawn. The child doesn't discuss with you. The child wants more and more time alone in his or her room or in one corner somewhere. Avoiding eye-to-eye contact while talking to you. Lying. Money is missing from the house. Don't blame your servant. Suspect even your children could be at it. Remaining awake, saying, no, I got homework, I got school project work, I have to go to this one's house, I have to go to that one's house. If suddenly these things come up, be mindful. This could be signs that your child is hiding something from you. Be aware of child abuse. When a child is 6-7 years old, the child knows what is good touch, bad touch. Be careful who your children mix with. Who do you hand your children over to? Be mindful of these things because unfortunately pornography is so common and it's very common to try this with very small kids who don't know what's happening to them. So child abuse is happening at a very small age. That small child may not be able to tell you what's happening to them, but the child knows something wrong is happening, and then this echoes much later. I have seen cases of 24-25-year-old children or young people remembering something that was done to them in their childhood. I teach a paper called Gender, and when I was talking about, there is an act now, protection of children from sexual offences, the POCSO Act that we call. I was speaking about it in the class, and a 35-year-old student of mine got up and said, Miss, for this lecture of yours, can I be sitting somewhere else? I said, what's the matter? She said, I was raped when I was 3. A 3-year-old, we think, cannot remember. She said, I've gone to counseling and everything, Miss, but if you are teaching this, it's disturbing me. And I said, I respect, I know this could have happened. This may happen more today because more of pornography and such other material is available today, and therefore I'm saying keep your children safe, be aware who and where they are. Develop life skills. What are life skills? Making decisions. 9 of my friends are planning to bunk classes and go for a movie or go to the beach. But I, as the 10th one, should make my decision to say no. That's a life skill. Decision making, problem solving, resolving a conflict. These are skills that children need much more. Some decisions maybe as a community you can take, or this works perhaps more in the Marathi speaking areas where we are, the whole village concept exists, but maybe as a building and all that, none of our children will be given bikes until they are 18. Then that temptation, he got a bike, my classmate got a bike, that won't come. So maybe some decisions as a community if possible. Be mindful of career choices. I'm purposely saying this because if your children are, say, in 10th or 12th standard, keep your eyes open for careers that will be needed 10 years later. 10 years later, what kind of careers we will need? If you're aware of those, maybe you could gear your children towards that. After doing everything, sometimes things go wrong. Don't blame yourself. If you have tried your best, don't blame yourself. Things can go wrong. And that is why the most important thing that you need to do is keep your child enveloped in a circle of grace and a circle of prayer. We've had the example of St. Augustine, a totally wayward character who even had a mistress, and then that person goes on to become a priest and a bishop and a doctor of the church. God can work wonders at any stage. And don't forget, St. Monica, his mother, was consistently at prayer. St. Augustine is an old story. But sometime if you're online, check out for Father Donald Calloway. Donald, his parents, they had shifted to Japan. The father was with the Navy or something like that, and they were in Japan. And Donald was a total gone case, with addicted to drugs, totally addicted to drugs. He would rob for that and get into all kinds of fights for drugs. So much so that they had to put him in fetters, they had to tie his hands and legs in chains and put him on a plane, deported from Japan, Father also gave up his job and they came back to their home place in America. He says his day would start at 9 o'clock in the night. When he would go to the pub or to a club to drink and to do drugs. And so much addicted to drugs that they wouldn't mind what a dirty place they are living in. He said if any white speck we saw on the ground, we would think it was a drug and crawling go and pick that speck from the ground and put it in the mouth. To that stage. And then his day would end at 5 o'clock in the morning when he would come home and sleep for the whole day. No education, no work, nothing. But Donald's mother was very strong in prayer. One night rather, Donald decided, today I won't go to the club. And something overcame him, he stayed at home. But how to pass the night? Because he's used to staying awake in the night. He has slept the whole day. So he goes to his mother's library, thinking at least let me get one Natural Geographic magazine or something like that to pass my night. He laid his hands upon a book. The book was on Mother Mary's apparitions in Medjugorje. Medjugorje is a place in Yugoslavia, I think, somewhere in one of those countries. And he got this book and he read. And one thing that struck him was Mother Mary saying there, you don't have to change to love me. You don't have to change to love me. My love can change you. And that sentence washed him. He said, I don't have to change. But who is this lady? He didn't even know of Mother Mary. He never went to church. But who is this lady whose love can change me? And so he read that book the entire night. The drug addict did not think of his drugs. By morning, the book was read. And Donald wondered, when will my mummy get up? He's waiting for his mom to get up. When the mom gets up, he goes up towards her and says, Mama, I have to see a priest. She looked at him quizzically, saying, Sarah has had extra drugs, I think, last night. She went on to get her coffee, but then before that she stopped and she said, okay. She picked up the telephone, she called up a priest. This is America. The priest said, not without an appointment. You can only see me at 12 in the afternoon. She called up another priest, he was not available. Then a third priest, he said, come right away. So she took Donald there. Donald made his confession. Donald totally changed, gave up drugs. Today his father, Donald Calloway, and he is doing tremendous work, spreading mainly Marian devotion and talking to youth. His books are available, his whole story is available. He attributes it to two mothers, Mother Mary and his own mother. So if our kids go wayward, and I don't think anybody can go as wayward as Donald, I mean our kids could go wayward here and there. Pray. Pray at all times. Encircle your child with a web. Imagine a web of prayer around your child. Everything else what I told you, if you remember 10% of it, chalega. But if you remember 100% of this, that will be great. Envelop your child with a web of love, a web of prayer. Because we live in very satanic times. Whether it's the message at Fatima, the message of Fatima clearly says that. And therefore, the Immaculate Heart has to triumph, and it can triumph only through prayer. If the devil wants to get in, the devil doesn't have to, he will not get in anyway, he'll get into the family. Because when the family is destroyed, whole society is destroyed. So therefore, stay in prayer, and I think that is one greatest antidote, the greatest medicine that you can have to any trouble, whatever it may be. I'll just end with a little poem. The paradox of our times is that we have taller buildings but shorter tempers, wider freeways but narrower viewpoints. We spend more but we have less. We have bigger houses but smaller families, more conveniences but less time. We have more degrees but less sense, more knowledge but less judgment, more experts but many more problems, more medicines but less wellness, We have multiplied our possessions but reduced our values. We talk too much, love too seldom, and hate too often. We have learned how to make a living but do not know how to live. We have added years to life but not life to years. We've been all the way to the moon and back, but have trouble crossing the street to meet the new neighbor. We have conquered outer space, but not inner space. We have cleaned up the air, but polluted our soul. We have split the atom, but not our prejudice. We have higher incomes, but lower morals. We have come long on quantity, but short on quality. There are the times of tall men and short characters, steep profits, and shallow relationships. These are the times of world peace but domestic warfare. More leisure, less fun. More kinds of food but less nutrition. These are the days of 2 incomes but more divorces. Of fancier houses but broken homes. It's a time when there is much in the show window. It's a time when there's much in the show window and nothing in the stock room. Let's not have massive glamorous show windows where we show the world, I have a huge house or a huge flat and I have a lot of gold or I have a lot of money or I have a big 4-wheeler or whatever. Let us have more in the stock room. Let's fill our stock rooms with love, with grace, and very importantly with prayer. So I wish you all the very best in your journey of parenting. When you pray for your kids, also pray for other people's kids. I believe that whatever good vibes you send, those vibes hit somewhere and those vibes will come back to you manyfold. So when you pray, don't pray just for your kid. Pray for other kids as well, and blessings of plenty will come to you. We all trust in the greatest parent, and that greatest parent is God. Times are tough, but God has chosen you to be parents in tough times because God knows that you are also tough. So we trust in God. We thank Him for this privilege of being a parent, and more importantly, for Him who created us along with Him. So God bless you all, and thank you, fathers, for this opportunity.
Almost 12, so we'll have 2 to 3 questions. If anyone has any important questions, anything that has come to your mind and you would like to ask Dr. Cynthia, please go ahead.
To start this from a very, how big is your kid now? 19. Now that's a little tough time, okay. But a 19-year-old at least knows what is right and wrong. You can't stop the 19-year-old, but you can make that 19-year-old aware of what dangers are there of overuse of a mobile. First of all, wastage of precious time when you could be doing something worthwhile. Check how much of that time on mobile is wasted time. I too use a mobile. I prefer it for a lot of reading. So rather than reading from a book or from the computer screen, I read on the mobile. But time like playing games. I also like certain games. But when I realize that I'm playing this game too long, I say nothing doing, delete the game. So teach your child this. The child may use the mobile, but make him aware of the physical problems that it can cause. Secondly, wasted time. That time will never get back. So if I'm sure your child is a reasonable child, you can have a face-to-face talk and definitely make the child aware of vulgar sites. Because that's another story, the effects that pornography has later on married life and things like that. Yours is a son or a daughter? A son. So make the child aware. Of course, even, today I don't see any, even the daughters could be addicted to pornographic sites, even girls could be addicted. So you talk to the child about not wasting time. Okay, he can use the mobile maybe for communication or maybe for study purpose. But avoid wasting time in stupid things like games and useless sites. this you should, and it's a habit that only your child can form. If your child is addicted to any of these, cut down the time slowly. But don't get angry, don't take the mobile away. They'll find some source to get another one and use it. So tell them that I respect you because I'm giving you this and I guess you are responsible to use it. So in that good faith, cutting down the time slowly. Okay? Yes, any other question? Yes. Yes.
We educate our children that they face the world and they stand up and
True.
but competition is such that you cannot avoid.
Yes.
They have to face it.
Correct.
But in the dilemma, we can lose the message also. And the child is under enormous pressure. I always say we don't pressurize us, but we create an environment.
Yes.
Even our peers, I'm talking about peer competition. Even though
You can use it healthy.
no, we don't compare, but then the children themselves feel it.
Okay. It doesn't break you. The great sportsmen who have achieved have done it because of competitive spirit. If you're not at all competitive, that is also bad. So sometimes children are influenced and they themselves, okay, my friend has got that much, I also should get. Be aware of the capacity of a child. That child should not create such, what kind of benchmarks you create should be benchmarks according to your capacity. This children need to learn. If the child is capable of getting 90 and the child sets a benchmark of 93, healthy. But if the child is capable of getting say 70 and then he is setting a benchmark like the first ranker, it may break him. He may not be using those traits that he or she is good at. So there we have to teach them that competition is good provided it doesn't break you down. So this, with the help of the teachers, now you know your child and the level of that child. You have to gear competition to win, yes, to make a mark, yes, without breaking. So you get what I'm saying. So competition is healthy, at the same time, it should not be breaking you.
Too much of mobile, because
Possible.
you tell them something, they always forget,
Possible.
we keep on telling them all the time.
Possible. Earlier we could remember so many things but today we can't even remember two numbers, like we are so used to. What you are saying is true. I think we are using lesser and lesser of our mental faculties because we have got more and more machines. So you can train your child. Absent-minded is because the mind is with something else. And that can be a costly thing sometimes, absent-mindedness. So remind the child, why were you absent-minded? And if that continues, if an old lady like me is absent-minded, okay. But a young child should not be absent-minded. They miss out on something in life. I think you have to bring that to the notice of the child. I don't know whether we can directly blame mobile or sometimes the child may get lost in something else. But what you're saying is true. If they're playing games, etc., that only plays in the mind. And that also could lead to absent-mindedness. Yes.
First of all, I congratulate Madam. You give the good speech for you all who need this job. But your speech is a singular, not plural. Can you make out that? You're talking about the one child, one male, one daughter. Yes. Anybody has the 4 children? Please raise out their hand.
4 children.
4 children. Anybody have? So this is the problem. This is the problem. If you give the last, this one now, no, that I want that point. It's very good. It's very good. Think of that and it is a problem. I'm not being a wonder of this. Because we are coming against the nature. You say 4 children will get it. But what children will provide everything? If you talk against and fight against the nature, it probably will arise still again. If the 4 children is there, nothing will happen. They are playing, but the playing will fetching everything. So be aware of that. You're praying to God. God will help you. For God says, where you are my listening. And that's the problem. Nothing problem. If the 4 children, we got all that this fun, you talk very nice, and any problem is come to me. It's very nice. you're getting money to spend money again on your children. So that you have to think. That's why I was looking at the poor children and putting how you know. The problem is, so that is why I was just thinking, because these are where you have to put. After the release, they give the poor children after, and then all the problem will solve.
Thank you, Father. I don't know about 4 children, but I would definitely say that the child needs a sibling, right? Now you'll ask me, in my own case, I have one daughter. Yeah, she was born when I was 34, and by the time we were thinking of the second one, there were a lot of other problems, but even she is born with a lot of issues. So that's a different story. But I don't know about 4, but they grow up healthily if you have siblings. Adjustments, sacrifices, responsibilities, sharing, support for one another. All this, like I in an extent I find. Like when I am not there and when my daughter needs support, who does she have? Like we depend on our siblings. So yes, I don't know about 4, but to 2, sure. I would definitely say that's a very, very classic. Correct. Okay, one for the church. One for the church.
Sometimes it happens that one of the parent is negligent and one is permissive. Or, they could be different quadrants. It's many times this problem is there. And then setting rules becomes very conflicting for that child.
And then the child is wondering, Daddy is saying this, and that's what I said, when the mothers brought them up in a particular way, they were authoritative. So first the parents need to have parenting rules.
That's
You as a husband and wife first sit and decide what are the kind of parenting rules in your house and never conflict. Like Daddy says, come home at 7. Now the child has not come home at 7. And then the mummy shields the child. Or the mother doesn't tell the husband what the daughter or the son is up to because daddy will get angry. I think you're telling the child, and the child very well knows, mommy is shielding me.
They manipulate.
Correct. They know to manipulate one thing, and they say it's fine if you hide things from your spouse. Tomorrow that child also grows up with that. So have the rules that are grounded. First you decide, you can't have mommy having one set of rules and daddy having another set. You have to sit and have that communication with your spouse first. You can't have mother-in-law having one set and daughter-in-law if mother-in-law is staying with you. Grannies are over-intelligent and mummies and daddies. So you have to have one set of family rules. You're right on that.
Just a continuation to what father said. Now when you're growing with siblings, I mean cousins, house has different rules. Then how do you...
So that's difficult. Every house will have different rules. And if those rules are too conflicting with your own homes, your child should be able to decide whose house rules are right. That is why those life skills, decision making. They will have comparisons. In their house this is done, our house they are not permitting us to do this. Stop and have a dialogue with your child. Do you think that they are doing right? Tell them your reasons, your rationale behind it. And I'm sure they will appreciate you doing it for their good.
Just a 1 year for the session at a very, late stage. Probably when a kid is already 15 to 20. Now it's easy to say that you can set rules for them and they will get confused. So what do you suggest for parents who have already kids who
You have to have a more than a parent to a child. It has to be an adult to adult dialogue now. You make the child aware, give them cases of people who have messed up with their lives because of not having a disciplined life. Show what a wonderful life they have ahead of them. And should they let it go waste now, they regret later. So I guess with a 15, 16-year-old, we have to find time and sit and talk to them on an adult to adult basis. We can't be dominating, no you do like this. They are not going to listen. They are not going to listen. Even school children, if I'm talking to a 9th standard kid, I don't treat that child like a child. I treat that, and the way they put their thoughts forward, they have great logic. So we have to dialogue with them and make them understand. Of course, it's very tough. And once they have crossed, let's say when they are about 20, 21, then they are more stable. The dangerous ages are like say from 15 onwards till around 20, where friends are more important than us, where what we say is very old-fashioned. So yes, but a dialogue will work better than a domination.
Because the children will be witness to what you are saying, and the
I
parents
don't-
will be witness to the answers.
No,
I don't think so that.
no, I don't know whether both together, because each child's equation with the parent is something different.
Don't cover the circle.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to see, because your child's equation will not be the same like his child's equation with him. So therefore, together I don't know, but what father sometimes should be, and father must be definitely having, make our children aware of all the dangers that lurk around. And I tell you, we are ignorant and we don't know half the dangers that are around. We don't know. The other thing, last time when I did it in the Marathi session, lady keep iodine. Apply Vicks and Iodine on bread and eating. Addiction. That kind of addiction. So make them aware and make them aware of this at a much younger age, you know what they are. Times are dangerous. We have to have our antennae up all the time. So it would be nice if you have a session, call a child psychologist or somebody and just talk to the kids that you have a beautiful, rich life ahead of you. A life that you can really bloom. If you let all these thorns in your life early in life, you're not going to bloom. Maybe one for kids alone. Together, you might not be, maybe somebody else you can think of something as a session
I
together.
will tell you an incident. It was a very funny incident last week. My son is 17, and I think your son likes a girl, and he has a crush on her. And then his mother also told me the same. And my reaction was, I was very happy that my son likes a girl, not a boy. And my wife was very upset because she said it's his time to study. And I told her, no, this is fine. So this is something where the children need to kind of, something like what you speak and maybe that interactive
This is
session.
something very normal.
Exactly.
All of us also went through these crushes. Now we may say no. But think, we also like somebody.
So how do we explain to him, how do we, what do
Don't
we
explain
tell him?
anything to the tuition teacher, forget the tuition
No.
teacher. To your
I'm
son,
not-
yes. You can speak to your son and it will be nice if you speak to your son. Child, see, these things are normal. Like, well, it should not come in the way of your studies. Your son is probably in class 12. And how we can handle this stage, maybe diversion to studies. Say, wait, until the right time. Very often, what will be like at the age of 17? By the time we are 20, we say, "Chhi, kya choice tha mera?"
Passion towards opposite sex, right? And you also said that we also experiment homosexuality, but in certain cases, if a child is homosexual or other gender, then how should a parent react to that?
First of all, don't react. Respond to it. So that's okay, fine. I didn't know what homosexuality was. I went in as a 22-year-old teacher immediately after my MSc. And one day, my cousins were in the same class. So one day, one of them came and said, when so-and-so goes to the toilet, have you noticed behind him, this fellow also follows? I said, now here who pays attention so much? He said, don't send both of them together. I said, what? Then that was the time he told me about homosexuality. Those two boys who were going together to the toilet, both of them are married men. That's why I said it's quite experimental at that age. So yes, so as a parent, making them aware, schools often do this sexual education, sex education class. But as a parent also, we ought to speak to them, otherwise they will get some misinformation from elsewhere. So that is the reason why, but then for the parents should have proper knowledge of this. Read up, find out, speak to them. And where you're talking of kids with homosexual tendencies, as I told you, these were kids with tendencies, but today it's proved that they're not, they're heterosexual men, married with kids, etc. So if children, and there are people who have remained with those tendencies, what you could do is talk to a doctor. I mean, I don't see anything like sinful, non-sinful. I'm not getting all these into these moral parts because It could be that they are oriented that way. I don't know. That's a different issue altogether. But if you do find kids like that, I think talking to a doctor, a priest will give you the moral side of it. A doctor will give you the medical side of it. Then you sit and take your own decision.
Sorry, I have.
But it's not a disease or something that can be given medicines and everything.
Is pushing our children into other activities, like be it the youth group or be it things in church, like the choir or altar serving or whatever. Now to a great extent, now I have two daughters, one is 10 and one is 12. To a great extent, me and my husband, we sort of coerce them into both. Even though they do not like it, we sort of push them into it to some extent, and then we say, okay, after a later age, like you said, after 15, we do not have a control on them. But like as of now, we can to some extent, coerce them into things. But to what extent should we do it? Because at times we always have that thought, are we doing the right thing? Should we be sort of, pushing them into things which they really are not interested? And the reason for not being interested is, like you said, there are other things, where they can spend their time, probably the computer or games or whatever. Read or whatever. But my question mainly is,
should we push them
on?
So know with whom they are. Also, they are under some kind of supervision and guidance. The youth, there would be an adult with them, a responsible adult, etc. So that's better than they being alone and being virtually connected with somebody on the chat room. So that is one thing. Second thing, why do they resent coming to these things? Do they not? If they have a good voice, I think they like to be in the choir. If they have good, healthy friendships in the youth group, I think they like to be there. These are safer places than sending them to somewhere else. But what you say is, I feel that is the age for socialization. How to come across, how to interact with people in public, how to adjust to others. These are our learning grounds. Don't overdo it. There are parents who have Monday for karate class, Tuesday for choir, Wednesday for this class. I think that's a bit too much. So, few activities which they would give them a choice. Say something of this you join. Give them a choice. Don't push them into everything. Okay? And if they just don't like, that might be their nature. My daughter is, to a great extent, she wants to be, she's she likes her, she's doing her CA. She likes the place where she's working. Why? Because they discuss on things of interest. So maybe place where they can discuss things of interest to get them into such kind of groups.
Sharing. I, on behalf of the family cell of Mother of God Church, extend a warm thank you to our speaker, Dr. Cynthia who enlightened us with important information and to add to it beautiful examples from her own personal experience and day-to-day life on various aspects as well as stages of parenting, and helped us adopt new techniques to handle children of today. I would also like to say a very big thank you to our parish priest, Father Raymond. Please, a huge round of applause. Thank you so much, Father, for encouraging us to have such kind of sessions and also getting it conducted in Marathi as well as in English. It's not so easy to, be the head organizer or rather the initiator. So just for the thought of it, thank you so much, Father. We are thankful to all the other priests and all our sisters in the convent who are every day working with children and youth. It's a very big sacrifice to be a teacher. I know that myself because I've done my B.Ed, I've taught in school, junior college, and now I'm in degree college. So, all children are the same, right from the time they are in primary, right up to after engineering and, degree. So, it's very difficult, and on a day-to-day basis, facing these challenges, a very huge round of applause for our sisters and all other teachers in the community. We are thankful to our parish, PPC and cluster leaders and all the family cell members who put in tremendous efforts to bring all parents together for this session. And a big thank you to all parents who are here today. Without you, this session wouldn't have been anything. A small announcement, there is a sheet being passed around, so please put in your attendance. And if anyone has any other, like there were many questions coming up, so you may have some thought later. If you wish to, address those particular issues or you want some guidance, you can contact the family cell anytime. So please be open to contacting the family cell. Before we leave, let us join our hands in prayer.
That was an Indian music symphony show, and I was fortunate to have one of the tickets to be present there. More than 100 instrument players, wonderful. It's international players were there. And then they had given information to switch off the mobile. In the middle of the time, someone's mobile was given a tick, and they stopped the symphony. And they asked that particular person to leave the auditorium out. And then they continued the symphony. I learned two lessons. This discipline is discipline. The second thing, even today, the world is so beautiful and wonderful things are happening. It was a miracle, the music to my ear. Oh wow, that was only my expression when they were playing, presenting the symphony. Even our children can do that, and I'm open for it. From day one, I'm telling you. I've completed 3 years, my 4th year. I want to have youth band. I want to have children band. I'm all open for it. Everywhere where our children can, take an opportunity, come forward. I already said, the church is open, grounds are open, everything open. I'm also open. I said, come, we will spend for them, our children. We need to help them. And that is what church has done to us. We have children group in zones. If you cannot afford 3 children, but you can gather together all your children, make them as one family of your zone. We have zonal youth. We have given them a lot of opportunities. Let them come forward, play, children choir, youth choir, all the programs. Even if we send them there, encourage them, then too they can grow and they will feel the sense of belongingness. I know the parenting is scary, but it also adventurous. It's an art, and we each one have to learn, and you are learning it, yes. And whatever you are doing, it is correct. Nothing is wrong. But still, we are here to learn from experts some techniques, some examples, some stories, some sharings, and that helps us. Last year we had, as Brian asked for it, session together. Last year we had called Dr. Sophia Fernandez. We had 2 sessions. One session only for girls and one session together with boys and girls. And she is also a very good speaker. And she had a lot of interaction. They also had a lot of questions. We'll keep on having these sessions. Only thing that we need your cooperation and support as you have given today. Thank you so much, Heavenly Father. We thank you, we praise you, we glorify your name for this wonderful day and this session that we had just now. We thank for Dr. Cynthia. We thank all the people, all our parents. We thank for all our children. Lord, that is a gift that you have given to every parent of our parish. God bless each one of us. Bless Dr. Cynthia and her family for all the efforts that she puts in to educate children, to be teachers, and the parents of our diocese. A major role that she plays in the magazine of our diocese, that is Shantidut. God bless her, bless each one of us. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. The Lord be with you. May the Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Thank you.